I said we lost it, man. Yeah.
Okay, so we lost our poet. So I'm going to move on. So we have in the circle coming up our virtual artist speaker tonight, and that's Joshua. I want to make sure I say his last name correctly. Bano. You're on mute, so you can correct me. Yeah.
What's up, man? Yeah.
All right, what's up, man?
Bono, man.
Bono. Okay, so you down there in Louisiana somewhere?
Oh no. I'm in Virginia right now.
Okay. So now Joshua Bano, I'm gonna give you an introduction. He's the founder of Ahayah. Okay, you got to help me out here. How to pronounce that correctly?
Ahayah Purpose.
Ahayah, I was right. Ahayah Purpose. It's a 5013 nonprofit organization in Virginia. Joshua is a visual artist, the entrepreneur, using his God-given abilities to awaken purpose in each person that he encounters. Ahayah Purpose is a platform that promotes the power of I am in human beings. So we're gonna have a conversation. I'm gonna hear he has a whole crew with him, and we're gonna end that on a high today. So I want to enlighten us about the floor is yours, and I'm gonna jump in every now and then. Be a part of
the We got some a little bit of cross.
I gotta mute somebody. That's all.
Please mute out the lines, please. Please mute out the lines.
All right. Well, first up, I want to say thank you. Thank you, Speak Life Tour, and everybody associated and partners that for having us on here, on this platform. It definitely is a blessing. It's a stepping stool. I believe I met Kathy about a year ago. She saw some of my artwork, and doing her thing, she reached out. And since then, it's just been an escalation, so pretty much, a higher purpose means a higher is I am. We want to definitely invoke the spirit of I am within all of us, because we cannot separate ourselves from I. We declare what we are on a day-to-day basis, whether we're declaring that we are sick, we are healthy, we are abundant, we are strong, we are weak, we are beautiful. This is what we declare on our lives. So, if we understand the power in the word, like the scripture says, we can begin to really rule as we were meant to be through our birthright. So, the purpose of the mission of a higher purpose in the smallest form is to relieve stress through art. We are all artists, every last one of us, all of us are artists in our own way, whether we're a doctor, a lawyer, a musician, a barber, somebody who works on real estate agencies and stuff like that. We're all artists. So that's the whole goal behind the higher purpose, and entrepreneurship, to fuel that purpose. So, definitely without further ado, I'd like to, definitely give the floor to our guests also, what I'm saying, the other speakers I have here. So
feel free to introduce them.
Okay, well, I guess we can start off with Benjamin, and then and then Doris, and then Yavdi, and then Sean.
All right. Hey, everybody. It's definitely a pleasure to be here. I really appreciate the opportunity to connect with everybody and just have this platform to be able to speak and introduce myself.
He just muted his mic.
All right, how about now?
You're good.
Okay, sorry about that. But my name is Benjamin Sedgwick. I am an entrepreneur. I have a couple companies. Two of them I have with good friends of mine. The name of those are Paper Don't Sleep Apparel, which is a clothing line that we started recently. And the whole meaning behind that is, 24/7, 365, money's being made. So we're trying to invoke and, really look at using money as a tool. to be able to make money work for us rather than being stuck in the rat race. Every day, we want to be able to create multiple streams of income. So that's where actually my friend Emmanuel White, he was the one that came up with the term years ago. So him, myself, and Marquise Jackson, we recently created a apparel line for that. Also, we have Sac on Sight Mall, which is an independent record label. And last is Cause Ben Said So Publishing LLC. And the whole meaning behind that name came about. It's a play on my name as well as the law of attraction. So my name being Ben Sedgwick, I came up with the name based off of whatever it is that I want in life. Success, happiness, you speak into existence. So I will have whatever it is that I asked for because I said so. So that's how I, put my name in that title and came up with that. And I actually started the company over 5 years ago, but I really became active, I would say, in the last 2 years, really pursuing it. And my whole hang up, which a lot of us have, is, doubt, self-doubt that I had to overcome, fear and just different things. So one of the things, I just stay consistent with it. I just wanted to make sure it was a passion of mine, which stemmed from initially being a musical artist, and just being taken advantage of because not really knowing anything about how to protect your intellectual property. So that was something that I encountered with working with multiple artists, independent artists. They really didn't know that. So I was like, well, let me read up and figure out how I can create something to help and give back. So I was able to create my music publishing company, which entails help individuals, independent artists, musicians that aren't knowledgeable about how to protect themselves and how to create revenue off of their intellectual property, their music, whether they're writers, composers, and so forth. So that's pretty much, I'm here to use myself as a servant to be able to help others and just help people to accomplish their dreams.
Awesome. Great to know you.
That's what's up. That's what's up. All right, so let's go ahead and also have go ahead, Doris. Let's go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Will do. Good evening. I'm Doris Juanita Gauthier, Doris J. Gauthier. As far as telling you about myself, I'm many things. As far as I am who God says I am. On the worldly level, I could say I'm every woman. And I am. And I come representing the Most High, Yah. I'm a spiritual teacher, life coach, accountant, entrepreneur. I'm a visionary. And I'm very excited to be a part of this team because we are living in a time. The door has been opened. We're God's people. The young lady that just gave the beautiful poem and the singing, it was fabulous. And if we only will understand how everything she just portrayed to us is so true, we are walking in a time where to see the young people coming together and the world coming together supporting us. I'm every woman and my purpose is God's will. So I'm in and I'm looking forward to this.
Great to know you.
All right. Yeah, D Bono. Go ahead, bro.
You're on mute.
All right, can you hear me now? All right, so first of all, I'll say thank you. Thanks, this is a great opportunity that we can all put on the table on how we can help, better make a community for each other, a safer environment for our children, and honestly, just a better way of living. And I am Yavdi Bono. I am a COO of Ahayah Purpose. Joshua Bono is my brother. Also, I am a CEO of Stage Entertainment, and that's a company I started up. It's my brother and another friend of mine, Kevin Johnson. And my whole goal is really to bring everybody together. I feel that each and every one of us have a special gift. And this is something we enjoy to do on our spare time, or sometimes if we're lucky enough, as our job, if we're lucky enough. But a higher purpose is looking at every individual and what they enjoy within themselves, and understands that to be payment, understands that to be your value. You know, that is what you were put here to do. That is your input into the community. And if everyone is able to, if there was some magical way that you can go ahead and be able to start doing what you want to do and not have to worry about the system we have around right now, which is, you know, you got to go to work to pay your bills, and, you know, you don't know if this is going to be enough. You know, you don't know if anybody's going to help you in the government. You're scared to walk home sometimes. You're scared to get pulled over. You know, you don't know if anybody's protecting you. There's just so much I feel that without race as a community we're dealing with. And we need to find solutions to fix that. And a higher purpose, like I said, I don't want to take up too much time. I'm pretty sure we're going to have more questions, but I'm deeply, deeply, deeply involved and wanted to find ways that our community can put money into ourselves, into each other, and for it to come back to just continue building us up. You know, I believe we have the power, the strength, the knowledge, everything within us to move forward and not continue the system we've been involving ourselves with to generations and generations and generations. I believe this is a time now to separate ourselves and to grow, not to be better or anything like that, but to love ourselves and to appreciate ourselves and to know our value. Because without us, to be honest, this whole thing stops running. The whole system that's set up here for us stops running. The money system stops running. Companies stop running. So we have to understand our value and start using that for each other. And that's where I'm at. Sorry, there's a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I definitely I'm thrilled for this segment that we have right now. Thank you all for introducing yourselves. And pretty much everything that each of y'all have said, really, that is a higher purpose. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, Speak Life Tour is a higher purpose. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we're all one. We're all one. We're all part of God's body. We're all God's children. You know, it's a collective consciousness. We all are thinking of an idea to come to the kingdom. See what I'm saying? Because right, the kingdom is in us. So we have this idea of networking together and bringing each other together and speaking life to the nations and the purpose and leadership and using our God-given gifts to bring life to each other. This is the currency of the kingdom. You know, when we're stopped from having our purpose, when we're stopped from doing our purpose, from contributing our gifts into society, into the world, this is when the spiritual death happens. This is when the physical death happens, because no longer are we feeding our souls. No longer are we useful to this world. You know, instead, we become selfish instead of selfless. But
I think what you're saying is so important, Joshua, because if I had like a bell that says like you've been on, like I don't know if you've been connected with the other sessions that we've had today, but there's a key word that we've had since we've had one of our first speakers talk about was togetherness. The person came up and was a coaching system for weight loss, but they were talking about community. Mm-hmm. And I feel like just the theme of even Speak Life to the Nations, what we're doing right now is realizing that the world is so much smaller than we think it is, and that we can now bring our gifts together and make impact. So I feel like the buzzer word is like ding, 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 ding. The key word is togetherness. The word is building a community. And you're saying more in your conversation, you're saying more we. and it's time out for the me. And look at we that's coming together. Look at what the impact that we have when we bring our gifts together. I love what I'm hearing.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and we have 2 questions because we don't have much time. Just 2 questions that we want to touch on. The first one, we'll just go ahead and answer them in the same order. Everybody at least have about 5 minutes or so to go ahead and just, speak on it. First one here is, okay, what's your point of view on having purpose and being a leader in today's world? Oh yeah, and excuse me, the other guest that we have, he's not here. He's not able to make it currently. But so it's just going to be us 4 here. But I'll go ahead and repeat the question again, and we're starting off with you, Ben. What is your point of view on having purpose and being a leader in today's world?
All right. So for me, my point of view on having purpose is what makes life worth living for you. Purpose is something that gives us meaning, for being here. And I just feel even in the process that it took with us being conceived, our parents conceiving us, there were millions and millions of sperm that each of us, pretty much made it. Like we made it first out of all that. And I feel that it's not by luck that happened. I feel that everybody is here for a reason. And a lot of times I feel that people do tend to lose sight of that. If they don't have a purpose for themselves, I just feel you'll just kind of float through life aimlessly, which is why I feel that a lot of people that commit suicide don't feel like they're, like they have a purpose, or, like they feel they're not going to be missed. It'd be like, oh, well, I'll be, the world will be better off, or my family will be better off without me, which isn't true. So I feel that, also purpose helps me personally to be able to keep my goals in order and to really be able to prioritize myself. So for me, first and foremost, my purpose is to provide for my family. I have a wife and a son, and, they both mean the world to me. And there's nothing that I wouldn't do to be able to provide for them and to be able to set up the type of life that, we envision, especially for our kids, to be able to have him. And whenever we do have more children, that we be able to allow their life to be able to start off better than either one of ours did. And so forth. When he gets to the point when he has children, we want his life to be where he can provide better for his kids and so forth. And as far as the second part, also to answer, also I definitely feel also my purpose, as I was mentioning before, is to be here to help serve, to serve to others, and to just really work together to bring forth better than what we have now, as far as a community and so forth. And to answer the second part of your question pertaining to leadership, I feel that as a leader, we definitely need to be willing to listen. Don't be afraid to ask for help, because a lot of times people in a leadership position feel that they have all the answers. They can't be told anything. And even on the job, sometimes when people have great ideas, then there'd be months down the line where leadership would take that same idea and try to act like it's theirs, without giving credit where it should be. So also being willing to admit when you're wrong. Nobody's perfect. We don't know everything. And also being able to adapt to change. Life is always changing. We just want to be able to make sure that you're not complacent. Be flexible. And also I got a couple of notes right here so that sometimes I just rattle on. But yeah, but that for the most part, that's how I feel about it.
Okay. Hey, that was definitely a great reply. You know what I'm saying? I feel the same way because, if you don't have a purpose, like you said, and that stuck out to me, it's like you feel like you're not gonna be missed. Like, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But let me go ahead and go to the next person. With Doris. Go ahead. Would you like me to repeat the question or?
No, I think I've got it.
Okay.
When it comes to purpose, we all have a purpose, but the majority of us fail to realize it. And without a purpose, you end up wandering through life. And then we confuse purpose with success and money and fame. But purpose is that thing that ignites you and gets you going. And no matter what comes your way, that's your purpose. So you find joy in the simplest things. Now, I look at purpose from the biblical standpoint. So it's easy for me to know my purpose is the will of God. But now I got to figure out, well, what is it that he wants me to do? Because it's easy to get caught up in what I want to do. But on a worldly view, even if you don't serve my God, you might do the universe, you might have the God within you, you may have whatever belief. Usually a person with a higher calling, a higher being that they believe in will have a purpose, even if it's to relive and to explore. The point is, even if you're wrong in your purpose, by having that purpose, that will give you the dedication and the tenacity to go through life's challenges and to achieve your goal. Without a purpose, you can never reach greatness. So you got to have a purpose, even if it's the wrong purpose. If it motivates you and gets you to go for it and you'll sacrifice and you'll do whatever, a purpose is something that you will pretty much beg, borrow, steal, and kill because that's what you're here for. So I think everybody has a purpose, but I think it's very important that we understand that purpose comes from here. It's that inner being. If you believe in a higher power, it's that higher power puts you here for a reason. So your higher purpose is going to be whoever you feel created you. And in my case, serving the Most High God, if he created me, I am a creator. So he is giving me the ability to be many things. Now, as far as leadership, I don't believe that anybody can be a leader. I think people are born leaders, and those born leaders, you can train them and teach them and develop them. One of the most difficult things with leadership, and especially in a time like now when tensions are high and a lot of things on the table like reparation, we need leaders. We need strong, bold leaders. We need leaders that's not going to compromise. We don't need leaders that's looking for fame. So leadership is a serious responsibility because you are held more accountable to the people you're leading. You can lead people to their death, and what we've experienced here as Black Americans, we've experienced a lack of leadership in our community. So much so that we have not progressed over the last 50 years. We're still technically in 1968. We have made no progress. So now there's a time where we've got the youth coming on and you guys are ready to pick up the challenge and run from it. But we need strong, ethical, we need honest leaders. And if we're dealing with the young people and the old people have to merge together so that y'all can get the wisdom. And they'll give you wisdom and y'all will take action because you're a new generation. You guys are the key to the future. But again, when we talk about unity, you have to include everybody. There need to be more older people on your panels. Involve them. That's where the minds are. Those are the ones that remember, and they can see that we're doing the same thing over again. So I strongly believe that with leadership, you've got to be a servant leader. You got to be a transformational leader. You want transformation in your people. You got to be somebody that's going to motivate your people. You know what I'm saying? Get them riled up. Let's do this. It's time. And you have to have people that have knowledge and they have to lead by example. So you got to be a leader 7 days a week. So a leader, that should be a leader's purpose. Anybody that proposes to be a leader, that should be their purpose. Anything else, you're playing. And we've had a life of trauma, 400 years. And our information is finally on the table. The world is finally looking at us and looking at our situation. We got to come strong. So some people don't even know they're leaders. As we work with people for their purposes, it's up to us to develop those leaders, to spot those leaders out, and to train the children to be leaders. Right off the bat, because we are kings and queens, we are leaders, and we're being given an opportunity. So purpose, you have to have one. Leadership, not for everybody. Some of us have to support and serve and recognize and lift up those that are our leaders. And as far as what we can do together as Black communities, we have to buy Black on Black. We have to Black banks. You shouldn't be spending your money anywhere but Black. The only time you should spend your money and it's outside of the Black family is because you got to have it and there's no other way to get it. And if that's the case, then somebody needs to choose that as the avenue that they're going to pursue, because you can't get it. Nobody Black has it. We've got to do it. If we put, we're the diaspora. We've got the people in Africa and all over the world begging us to come back. And they want us to come back because they know what we can do. See, we're a little different than the Africans, but we'll save that for another conversation. But they want us to come over there and build Africa, just like we built America. And they're welcoming us with open arms. And we as a people, we got to put our money together and start these cycles so that we can all go back for a visit, get to know them, take our businesses there. That's where your wealth is. You want to be an entrepreneur? Get started over there. Africa is a continent. I don't know how many countries. Put your money there and in your community and work for reparation. That's the goal. Purpose don't matter. Leadership doesn't matter. Reparation matters. And to get reparation, you got to know your purpose, which means you got to know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, if you don't know where you came from, you'll never get where you want to go because you don't know. But once you know who you are, you'll understand your purpose. And we can all be entrepreneurs as we were made to be. We are the chosen people.
Well, Josh, I want to jump in real quick just to say something real. I think that when it comes to leadership, it's about leading yourself first.
Absolutely.
And then what happens when you lead yourself, what happens is people will follow when you have a direction. So I kind of believe everybody's a leader. But you start with leading first, and leading comes with understanding that we all have a purpose. And if you end up leading and learning how to lead yourself first, then people will follow the lead of a strong leader. So one of the things I'm looking at right now is in our community is a need for strong. You brought that up. There's a need for strong leadership in the community. Can you talk about how to bring that purpose, your individual purpose, to bring change in the community? Because if you had a chance to leak in, we had something simple today. We had Marvin Gonzalez Rodriguez, and he was a part of UNITOS, and he was sharing how he went to Guatemala in his old home country, and he would come over with 3 pairs of shoes in his bag, and he would leave back with only one. And out of that, in 3 years' time, he went from having 2 pairs of sneakers to now the next year, 200 sneakers, shoes. The next year after that, 400 shoes. Right. So how can we learn from that example in our community? And this is a question that's to everybody in our community, but where we can use that to find purpose to not only affect ourselves, but those around us. And
I think one of the key things that we need to do that I don't see happening is the fellowship with each other. We don't know each other. Everybody has a busy life. They're working. If you're a member of a religious community and you go to church, you tend to congregate with a group of people. But then when you go on the outside, we don't connect. You have to have like minds. You have to have people that are on the same path, that have the same train of thought. We have to come together as a people, learn each other's skills, what we have to offer. As far as the business end of it, it's very easy to get started with it. We live in a global age. You can get on your computer right now and find wholesalers. And you can find those wholesalers in any country in the world. And as far as getting there, other than the COVID-19, it's usually cheaper to fly overseas than it is to fly from state to state or interstate. What most of us as Black Americans haven't experienced is being a part of the global world. because we've been narrow in our own little communities. So as we work together in the community, we have the best of the advantages because we have technology. It's just like you and I are having this conversation. You have the opportunity, Facebook, you can meet people that have I used to have a leather business and we bought it straightly from the Indians in Pakistan because we went online and we found them. And then when you meet these people, you network. But in order to network and grow these, it has to start with us. There was a time when you could find swap meets and flea markets where you had small entrepreneurs with 4 pair of shoes. And he set up on Saturday and Sunday and he built his reputation. They came to him looking for the shoes, which gave the way you do it when you don't have the capital to get it going. You let them pay for the shoes up front and then you order them. But when you consistently do that and everybody's working in the same pool, then you can move into a building. And you've got clientele that you built up here. But so often we want to start big. Just like you say, you have to lead yourself. You have to start. Most people think that being an entrepreneur, being in business for yourself is the way. It's so easy. That's hard work. If you won't go to McDonald's and flip them burgers to the point where they want to give you a raise every time they look at you, you're not going to succeed because you're too lazy. Not unless you just got a straight up talent that when people see you, they're going to pay.
So before you go out on entrepreneurship, because there's so many different levels that we can talk about on the community. I want to go back to community. All right. And talking about the purpose in the community and particularly our community, since you brought it, you came in and talked about the Black community in our area. What are some hindrances that are stopping us from coming together as a community? And it's not just the white, let's take the white man out of the scenario because it ain't just the white man that's stopping us. What are some things that we are doing or not doing that's stopping us from establishing community? Because now we're talking about speak life to the nations, which means that this is not just an America thing. This is a worldwide thing. And there are other communities that are doing great things. And we have to ask ourselves, if the community is working, what's stopping our community from getting there? So I'm going to throw that question to everybody. And then Josh, Flo.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Go.
All right. Well, for me personally, I feel that it's something that, when you were speaking on as far as like the other communities being able to work together like that, I just feel that wasn't something that we've been taught to really work like that. Whatever, like in many cases, like even from a young age growing up, we see a lot of me mentality, and also when you're speaking as far as a lot of other cultures, many of their family structure is different than what our family structure is, as far as having, 2 strong parents in the household. You have a mother and a father that be able to work together. Myself, I was raised, me and 3 other brothers, my mother raised us. And typically that's the blueprint that majority, not all, but many of our households are. So with having a single parent, even if it's a single father, it's like you're kind of in survival mode where it's like, all right, I have to provide for my kids. I have to pay the bills. I have to do this. I have to work maybe 2 or 3 jobs. So a lot of the time and effort to be able to cultivate ourselves as well as the children, we really don't have the time to be able to do that and to be able to raise and be like, all right, well, we need to be able to work together. And it just reminds me of this conference that I went to where this gentleman, him and like his team that was speaking, and the comment that he said that really resonated with me was, I'm not trying to compete with you, I'm trying to eat with you.
Right.
And that was like so powerful because a lot of us do see each other as competition rather than really trying to figure out how we can utilize each other's talent. And I feel essentially that's where somewhere along the line, which I feel initially started back in slavery, just happened. And definitely the way that we're portrayed on TV and so forth definitely plays a big factor into that.
And I think you made an important point. And the key word I heard, and I want to try to go pivot back with you, is if you really take the Black experience in the United States, one thing from our slave roots and from our slave roots to now, I think we need to focus on the common gene that we have learned to survive. As a people, we are survivors. And the key thing about being a survivor is the ability to change. And if we don't realize that, if we don't get a purpose and a vision as a people, as an individual, as a family, as a culture, and we make that failure to make the pivot, we're not going to survive to the next level. And I think we really have to get to that point where we see that survival gene in us is no longer it's no longer just me, but we. And I think if we can adapt to that, that's going to make great change on that. Joshua, I'm going to push it back, put the ball back in your hands. Wait.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it. And, that's funny because the question that you raised, that was kind of like the same question that I had going on there as far as our community. I personally believe, I want to actually let my brother speak because he didn't have a chance to answer the questions, but I want to elaborate a little bit on what you were saying. I personally definitely agree. And I believe that, it's really kind of a strategic agenda that has an ancient plan that has been set against us and our people. A lot of people are aware. You got a lot of the older generation that, are dying out, purposely, naturally. And you have a lot of disinformation that is going out to the younger generations. So the younger generations are becoming like sheep, mindless sheep, where they can be molded to whatever, the powers that be desire. So the time right now, I believe we're in a crucial point where, it shouldn't be no more just talking about, what I'm saying? It's time for us to, if we're going to say, let's put our money together, if you get 1 million people to put $1, you got $1 million.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the thing about it is we've had a grace period. Like we want to say 400 years, but we know about the Federal Reserves. We know about the legal tender. We know about how, this country, the value of the dollar is going down. And there are ways that are being put into effect to get rid of that, to transform it to a digital currency. Mm-hmm. So it's time. I just believe that right now, it's time for us to really, really just, instead of just talking, just put the action, put action with the power of the Most High behind us. Mm. But go ahead, Yap. Go ahead. If you can go ahead and elaborate for us a little bit, bro.
Yeah, that was a lot, man. That was a lot, a lot to go over. And it's like you guys covered a lot of it already. But I think one of the most important things I say is accountability. We have to be accountable at the same time. And this time that we're in, this age that we're in, we can change a lot. We actually can make a lot of decisions that would impact our future greatly. Mm-hmm. And I don't believe it will take that long to see the results of it. How can we do that? Simply, as Doris was saying, start supporting our Black brothers and sisters. Benjamin Sedgwick, he has a clothing company. To be honest, instead of me rocking, and modeling for all these other companies who do not support my community. Mm-hmm. And when I say support, we hear a lot of stuff about like, you're destroying your own community. Like, I don't agree with the riots and the violence, but I understand what's behind it. You know what I'm saying? And when they say you're destroying your own community, how is it your own community when you walk down the street and they call the cops on you and you live right there? You live right in the midst of them. How they walking around and following you in the same supermarkets where you spend just as much money as anybody else. You know, there's so much that I think we need to start taking, being aware, first of all, and start taking accountability that we've been chasing something that does not want us, does not want a part of us, you know, and if we understand that, we'll start looking at each other a lot differently. You know, there's a lot, like I said, disinformation, hate between us, shade wars, you know, like who's lighter, light skin, and all this stuff is just to keep us separated so that we do not come together. From what I see, every race, they know how to come together for something, for a cause. They know how to stand together. Mm-hmm. Okay, they know how to take care of each other. They're able to take care of each other in other countries. They know how to work together, regardless of what they have going on inside. You know, and I believe our race needs to start doing that. And one way is to start looking at each other with love, having more trust. You know, I do believe we need to start policing each other. You know, I don't know if anybody has heard of what's going on is groups, you know, NFAC, you know, is militia groups already talking about, you know, policing our own race, you know, and if anybody hasn't looked into these things, got to start looking up these news more, man. There's a lot happening in this age, you know, and regardless if I agree with it or not, you know, and I do agree with it, I'll say that, is that we should start ruling each other first. We should start, you know, being leaders to each other first. We've always been looking up to someone else to show us the way, show us the right way to do it, and listen to other people's rules. Okay, but within ourselves, we know what's right, what's wrong, and we should start.
I think that's so on point. And we have 5 minutes left, but I want to really kind of sum up everything that you said. Is that I think that community and lead, like you said, leading ourselves is very important. But above all that, I think foundationally, we have to go back to being the visionary people that we are meant to be. And a lot of times you can't lead nobody somewhere if we don't have a vision of what that picture looks like. And I think, you know, I come from the old Christian condition when they were used to talk about heaven all the time. And the reason why people went through so much, they were looking at heaven. We created a very big picture of what heaven looked like. And that's what they spent their life moving towards. But we realized the kingdom is so much bigger than heaven. Yeah. But here's the issue. The picture is worth 1,000 words. Okay. The picture of where we're going as a people, it has to be clear. And I think right now, the reason why we're keeping it in that same look, like we keep talking about the children of Israel, in that same circle, we can make light years of progress, but instead we're on a 40-year journey that can be done in 2 days. And that's crazy. Okay. But the reason why is because we don't have a picture of what that promise looks like. And we have to start being able to gather each other and talk about, Dr. King was saying, I had a dream. And looking at the dream, we followed his dream. But now we have to dream a bigger picture. It's no longer all right to walk in a dream that someone dreamt. Right. Once we get to the place that there's a change, we have to be in the redream again and be able, you know, the great thing about the Black Panther movie, everybody's talking about Wakanda forever, but it's saying that, hey, we can do that. We can have a Wakanda moment. Yes, we can have a Wakanda generation. We can have a Wakanda change, but we got to do better. One, we got to paint the picture, then believe the picture, and then put the work in. Joshua, I'm going to sum this up because we got 2 minutes, but I would like you just to sum up again, just bring it all together.
Hey, I appreciate it. I definitely agree. And that was a great point that you had with saying about Wakanda, you know, because that right there is an ideal dream, an ideal picture of a people, you know what I'm saying? A people at one with each other, at one with God, you know, who know their selves, you know. I definitely, just like you said, about the Christian background and foundation, you know, I believe most of us here have that, you know, the Christian foundation growing up in America. But one thing I have learned, because I don't consider myself any religion anymore, but more spiritual, more natural, but love. Once again, if we can have more love for each other, if we can have more love for ourselves, have more love for ourselves as a people, have more love for our Black skin, because there's been such a slander throughout the time on our skin, that we began to hate ourselves as a people. You know what I'm saying? So if we can love ourselves more, we can learn to love each other more. We can learn to build each other up. We can come together. We can paint that picture and we can get it done, because all things are possible through the Most High. All things, all things. Right now, this is a manifestation.
Yes, it is.
This is a manifestation right now, at this moment, at this time. We'll speak life to the nations.
And I love that fact that one of the things that you said, and I'll close it here, is that, again, I come from the biblical part, so I'm not ashamed of the gospel I live. It says that to love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? But when you learn to love yourself and that all that comes within it, it makes it possible to love everyone else.
That's right.
So again, it starts with the change in yourself first. So when I can get to the change in me, then I can change the we. But I got to start with the change. The root of the matter is because if we don't get that point as a people, we will spend another 30 years blaming the imaginary person that's saying that the man is holding you down. But no man is going to stop me from getting my LLC.
Right.
Man has stopped me from writing my book. The only man that's been stopping me has been me. So when we get out of that blame shift,
Get out of the way.
and I might be unpopular for saying that, because they can say, well, you can't see. No, those are leaves on the tree.
Yeah.
Fruit comes when I accept me and be able to accept me for the valuable seed I am in this world. And I will begin to nurture the seed that is me. And that seed will grow into a tree, and I'll be able to give new leaves. I want to just thank y'all for coming and sharing y'all wisdom and sharing your lives with us. And I heard multiple generations on one channel. This is what Speak Life to the Nation is about. And we were able to talk about the spirit. We were able to talk about the whole man. And that's about what we're about to be, talking about our journey. And that's what Speak Life to the Nation is talking about, individual corporate journeys all coming together. Because if we can all be able to tell our story, that's the beginning of the community forming. So I want to thank you, Joshua, for you bringing your core team with us and sharing on Speak Life to the Nations. This won't be the first time. It won't be the last time that we meet again. I'm looking forward to connecting with you in the future. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Y'all have a blessed night. Thanks for having us.
You too.
All right. And y'all can catch us also on Instagram.
Yeah.
At Ahayah Purpose.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to contact all of us from there. So
awesome. And we got Cuz IG at Cuz. Listen, catch me I am speak. I'll talk to you.
Yeah, put
the things out there. We gotta get better at that. How do I get up here?
Benjamin got his plug.
Yeah, hey, I was ready. I was waiting.
Wearing your t-shirt.
Yeah, so this is actually Paper Don't Sleep. Yeah.
Thank you for being a part, and again, we'll stay connected. Okay.
Thank you.
All
Good
right.
night.
Good night, everyone. See, log off.
It's still live.
I'm still live.
We're still live.
Do I hit?
You have to hit stop live.
How do I hit stop live?
Go to the bottom to the right.